What's up, y'all? Welcome to Daytime After Dark. My name is Al Jackson.
Talk.
I knew I was going to mess that
After
up.
dark.
Eventually, Daytime Talk
I
After
like the
Dark.
enthusiasm behind
Thank
it,
you,
though.
but I was wrong. But you know what? When you're just loud, it
was,
supplants everything.
if they didn't call it out, I would have went with it.
I'd appreciate that. But Jeff,
See?
I'm trying to do a lot here. Got it? Keep going.
Well, you're talking over it.
come on. You look like a busy assistant in the 80s.
80s?
yeah.
Or 40s?
Yeah.
She's Girl Friday.
What do you mean, sir? I'll
we
get that right for ya.
we have a full house. I am so happy. We got the whole gang here. We got my girl Sam Shocker, who saw me recently. We will get to that
can't
way
wait.
later.
Yes.
We have our lovely Tori joining us from a time machine, looking good.
I thought this was quiet luxury.
You look like a boss babe.
Thank
I'm,
you.
I'm into
I
it.
think she looks cute.
She looks
Thank
like
you.
Christina Applegate and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Which is back. Which is now back, right?
Yes.
I'm right on top of that, Rose.
That's
Right.
right.
That Rose.
Al, she
love-
doesn't look like a home ec teacher a little bit?
A little bit.
How are
We're gonna balance the checkbook today.
how
you know,
are we pause making fun of Tori's outfit when you, as much as I love your jacket, looks like it's literally my Oma's couch from Detroit, Michigan.
because
After
first
she
of all,
took
shout
the
out to the
plastic
D.
off.
Second of all, shout out to Oma. She had great taste. You know who else has great taste? The woman down there wearing an Afghan.
An Afghan?
Isn't that an Afghan?
It's a sweater dress.
No, Sam's not in her head. Is that an Afghan, Sam?
That's a sweater dress.
It's a
I
sweater
thought it was
dress.
Afghan you put on the couch.
That's a sweater dress.
What's
Isn't
an
it
Afghan?
for
Yeah,
the
Roseanne
couch?
had an Afghan on her.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that's right, the knit one.
Right.
Oh,
Jeff, could
that's an
that not go
Afghan?
on a couch? A real nice black leather couch?
No, but that's nicer than an Afghan.
What about
It's a
Erica's ottoman?
Oh, yeah. we'll
my
talk about
God.
Erica's Ottoman later, but we will talk about her
No, we won't.
adventures that have taken you away from us for a couple weeks. We missed you, girl.
Yeah, I missed you guys too.
All right, we want to hear all
Well,
about
not
it.
2 weeks ago, but I missed you guys.
Well, we haven't seen you in a minute. I've been missing you, and I've been missing your face as well, Mr. Jeff Schroeder. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good.
How's the fan bam?
The fam's good.
Yeah?
The fam's great, actually. So that's all I really care about. So that's
No one's here.
that's all good.
one's here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any developments? Boys doing anything?
Boys are done with football now. That's all over. And yeah, just school and getting ready for the holidays. And
Have you thought about coaching your boys?
I coached the last game.
How was it?
Yeah. We won 6-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I coached my little one. I didn't talk about that.
I think we did.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did. Yeah.
It was good?
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago. yeah.
Whatever. It's a victory.
Yeah.
What sweater are you wearing? It looks great.
Oh, this old thing? Actually, I got this from Secret Santa at DBL from Tori Showman.
I was the secret Santa.
Oh.
That was the story.
I think everyone put that together.
Sweater jam.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Erica, we talked about you briefly, but catch us up.
Yeah, well, I was
Because
in
people have been
Mexico.
asking, are you still on the show?
Oh, yes, of course. Yes,
Well,
of
not if
course.
I
I'm
have anything to say about it.
I would be more formal, like the gang has decided that I'm no longer needed. No,
Or
I-
Erica's running like
Yeah,
multi-gazillionaire
Oh my
business.
God.
Or you've outgrown the gang.
Oh my gosh.
That's more like it.
No. I was in Mexico 2 weeks ago.
How was Mexico?
It was amazing. We were in Playa Mujeres, and yeah, it was so great. We went to this resort. I've been to Mexico so many times. This was the best resort I have
That's
ever
a bold
been to.
statement.
Love it?
No.
Oh.
It was called Atelier. And you know how like a lot of resorts, I mean, anywhere that you go, you kind of like Monday you eat at this restaurant and then there's a different version of the restaurant, but it's kind of the same food. This place was like every restaurant was a spot on. Like if it was a Mediterranean restaurant, it was a Mediterranean restaurant.
The AI hotels are not great with food. That's the big thing. So this is good with
The
food.
what
Like
hotels?
all inclusives.
Oh yeah, this
not
was an
amazing.
all
This is very
inclusive
exciting.
and it was
No
I
one's
was like
ever
the
called them
AI.
AI.
I exclusively on the forums call them AI.
Jeff, do you use AI?
would think that
all
it's like
inclusive resort.
artificial
I
intelligent
went to
hotel.
AI is well known in the forums.
Never.
All inclusive.
Ask the audience if they've ever heard of all-inclusive as AI.
Yeah, I've never heard of that, but it wasn't all
She
inclusive.
just got back from one and she's never heard of it.
Yeah.
Erica, continue.
It was so amazing. I'll give you another little hack, okay? So we were going there for a week. Our friends Nicole and Eddie. Nicole introduced me and my husband over 10 years ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was her and her partner Eddie, and so they met us for 4 days. So when Anthony and I got there, we have this hack. So pretty much any hotel we go to, especially in Mexico or Vegas.
Is this an AI hack?
It's not an AI hack.
Okay.
So you just slide a higher bill over as you're checking in and just ask if there's anything they can do, like the best room they can give you. Well, we did this and we ended up with a penthouse suite, like, because we had a basic room. We ended up with a penthouse suite. It had like a over 1,000 square foot terrace that overlooked the ocean. Like when I tell you, like this room was like so incredible. And we were just going in, I'm like, whatever room, we're in Mexico, whatever. After that, I'm like, we're just going to have to go from hotel to hotel till we get another room like that because it was incredible. And
I
we
have
had
a
the time of our
follow-up
lives.
question
I
because
do
I
too.
want to know.
Pause. Here's the difference between Eric and I, because we do that hack, but we slide a candle.
Do they give you a worse room? Because that's a really weird thing to do
My,
to somebody.
well, no.
Why don't you keep the candle? Because you're in a real shitty room.
No, we don't. My husband has a candle company, and he'll say that. He'll be like, oh, we're here for a trade show. I have a candle. By the way, do you have any upgrades? And we'll usually get a little upgrade, not the penthouse.
If you don't ask, you don't receive.
But here, so I love stories like this because it's like, man, I would love to do that and be like, all right, if I know I'm going to get it, here's $100. I don't know what you gave or whatever. But the embarrassment of like sliding it back and you're like, oh my God, what a loser.
You
I
could
am.
do jardiniere.
that they
know?
slide it back.
Yeah.
They
What if they slid
I've
it back?
never in 10 to 15 years have anyone ever
no
slid
one's
it back.
sliding it back.
Now they might say,
But what if I give it like a 5?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
sliding it back. That's
they might
insulting.
say like, oh, we're sold out or there's nothing in your category or something. But generally they'll send you something like a bottle of wine or something to the room, even if they don't have it. But you have to be willing to lose whatever you're sliding.
Do they take it? I don't know if my mic's working. I'll shout. Do they take it and put it into their pocket?
No, they have to be real sneaky
Do
deaky.
they look you in the eye?
Well, it depends on where you're at. Like in Vegas, they'll just, they generally will just take it. It's not like I'm like, it's more
not?
like, hey, can you just make sure if there's like, a corner room, like just the nicest room you can get me in this category. Like no expectations, but sometimes you get surprised and it was really
I like
awesome.
that. Back
I
in the
like
clubs,
that.
we did this move because I would be the door lady before I was bottle service. Give me your hand. So they do this. And then there's the 100 in there, but I don't know how much is in there.
Yeah.
So then sometimes I'd be like, okay, and I'd go walk them to a table, and then I'd look later, and it'd be like a 5. But most of the time it was 100. Most of the time it was 100. Sometimes so the next day when I'd bring my tips to the bank, some of those hundreds were counterfeit, but I never knew whose was counterfeit because I'd have a lot of hundreds in my pocket.
Yeah, well, I used to. If you're a guy, they used to go to the club in Miami, especially with people who live there. Went on the weekdays. If it's just dudes, if you don't have women, you're not going to get in.
Yep.
So me and my boy Greg, we would always. I would just palm them the 50, and even though I was a teacher, and that 50 hurt, it was better than standing in line for half the night. And after a while, they start to know you, and they'll just make eye contact. And like, I mean, it's not a hookup, but. And the only other thing that I'll add to that is when you were in New Orleans, if you take a bottle of rum or whiskey, and when you check in with the hostess, you say this is for the kitchen, they'll send you food.
What?
So,
Like
yes,
piracy,
off-
like a
off-
pirate
off
group.
menu, yes.
That's neat.
Wow.
Like a what? Around like pirates. It's bartering.
That's good to know. I want to go to New Orleans. I've never been.
Me neither. Can we go to New Orleans?
We should
New
go to
Orleans is fantastic.
Bourbon
Yeah.
smells like.
Well,
straight
I think the
but yeah.
food. I mean, I love food, but I love Louisiana food. I love Cajun food. Like the food down
go
there
so
is
bad.
so
I
good,
wanna
and the
go
people are
too.
so
Let's
proud.
go.
I
Yeah.
know. I hear. When's the time to go? Either jazz. They say Jazz Week is a good time to go.
I can't. I don't want to go
Jazz
during
Fest.
any
I agree
with
festival
her.
because
Okay,
I
but
can't.
what about Halloween time when it's spooky?
No,
I have to go. Like I like to go off the,
Season.
not even off season, just like when there aren't like a ton of people there.
I do hear that if you like a good Hallmark Christmas movie, supposedly New Orleans during Christmas time looks like a Hallmark movie. They go all out with garland outlining their streets.
and it's nice French. It's got a French Quarter feel next to it.
Cobblestone.
European feel.
Yeah, if anybody's watching from New Orleans,
Can
let
you-
us know. Give us a shout.
Shelly is a niece from New Orleans. Oh, I my cousin
Oh.
Shelley went to Tulane.
Another Shelley?
Another Shelley.
Oh, well,
If
maybe
my
it's
mic's
the same
not
Shelley.
working, no.
Well, I do want to make a note here. If there are any audio issues, I do want to say it's because we got new mics.
Yeah.
So
Again?
yes, bear with us. Yes, you're talking to a new microphone.
This isn't
right
the
now.
same one as last week?
No, that's why they
Oh.
call it new. It's something you haven't dealt with before. Sammy, talk to us. What's going on with you and the family? I
Family's
consider my
good.
extended family. I love
Yes.
your family.
Oh, I love you, Al. My kids love you. Family's good. Sophie just did her Descendants play, and I had no idea.
Wait, she did her what play?
So Descendants is like a really hit. Are your kids into Descendants?
course.
They
My niece
are?
is
Yeah.
into Descendants.
Okay.
She was
So-
Evie or something for
What?
Evie
Uh-huh.
for Halloween.
Okay,
What
she
is
was
this?
Evie. Sophia's Evie. She has all the costumes. So Descendants, you're gonna love this premise. Descendants are the descendants of all the Disney like princesses, villains. So for example, Mal is Maleficent's daughter. Evie is Queen, the evil queen from Snow White's daughter. Ben is Beauty and the Beast's son. I could go on and on and on. But anyways,
you are.
Sophie played Chloe Charming, which is the new Descendants 4, which is Cinderella, which is played by Brandy. Brandy's daughter with Prince Charming. So Sophie was Chloe Charming in this new play, but here's the kicker. So I had no clue that Miss Sophie was the pre-show entertainment. So we go and sit down, and then we hear her, the director of her theater company, come out and say, and pre-show entertainment by Sophie Byron. And Mark and I were like,
Oh my gosh.
Mark and I were like, what? Sophie comes out all by herself and sings Fearless from Taylor Swift. Poor homegirl knows like maybe an eighth of the words.
That's awesome.
But the courage,
What did she sing
the
the rest?
fearless. No, she did know some of the words, but if I would have known, I would have helped her learn the words.
Yeah.
But she decided to do the pre-show entertainment. And the funny thing about this is Sophie wanted to do theater like a couple years ago, and she did a very strict program, hated it. This one, fun, loosey-goosey, loves it.
loves it.
In fact, right now she's auditioning for Lilo and Stitch. Lilo
That's
and
Leighton's
Stitch.
current like favorite stuff.
I
yeah.
wish Leighton and Lawson could be in her theater group. Would you
Yeah.
ever consider it?
Of course. Yeah,
All by me? Is that too far from you?
Put
Greenwood
another thing
Village?
on my schedule.
Child, how much more information you gonna give
Okay,
us?
you and I are going to talk after.
Okay.
Because it's age
Leighton
5 to
loves that
12.
stuff.
It's
Leighton
super
loves
loosey.
it.
It's
Yeah.
super loose. I mean, look at Sophie singing Fearless and knew
That's really
4
great.
words.
People are saying, "Oh, Sophie, so cute." Good
Very
luck,
courageous.
Sophie."
Very.
Someone, Leslie Green, said, "Stay at the Sonesta in Nolens."
Oh,
Yes,
you know
I've
who-
stayed at the Sonesta.
Oh,
Yes, absolutely.
You know who else has a New Orleans connection is our girl Ebony.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
knows
you're
all
absolutely right.
about New Orleans. So maybe we
You're absolutely
we'll
right.
talk to Ebony about that.
All
Yep.
right.
Yep. Okay.
Well, let's
Al, anything with you?
Awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's stay in the realm of theater. This weekend I was in LA. Elijah directed his first, he was the assistant director on his first play.
What was it? The play?
It was called The Mystery Plays. It was one play broken up into 2 parts, and it was dark and heavy and
What?
good.
Elijah.
It was about sin and but it wasn't really religious. It was more like almost like an H.P. Lovecraft kind of. Long story short, there were these 2 guys on a train. One guy gets off the train after kind of flirting with the other guy, getting his number. The train crashes. Everybody on that train dies. The guy that got off the train got off to get snacks and get back on, but he missed it. And so he's then wrestling with the guilt of getting off the survivor's guilt.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
when they go to when the cops start investigating the train crash, they realize that there were 58 victims, but only 57. There were 57 victims, but they found 58 bodies. And the extra body, after I thought about it, and my ex-wife had to tell me, it was that the guy that got off the train was dead.
I was just going to say that.
He was dead.
Like Sixth Sense?
Yes.
That's heavy.
And so the guy,
know?
no, he didn't know. So the guy that he was talking to on the train had already killed
Oh my
him.
gosh.
So the body that they found was in his luggage. This was a high school
Who wrote
play.
it? Who wrote it? Who wrote it?
I don't know.
If you told me that was on Netflix, I'd
It was
watch
too.
it tonight.
I'd be in.
Jeff, you know, like you're at a play, like, oh my God. We were like,
That's
oh my
awesome.
It was so great.
Good for Elijah.
And just before we get into the news of this week, the funny Ford story for the week.
Oh, I can't wait.
Because my ex-wife, she makes me laugh with Ford stories so much. But because shout out to Ford, he sat through this play 3 times.
That's hard.
And
that was Miles with Sophie. So Miles had to sit through two of them.
They just sit there, and Ford doesn't make any noise. But Jen, my ex-wife, said at one point, Ford is just sitting there, and he leans over and he touches her arm, and he goes, "I am so ready for this play to be over."
That was like Miles. So in the middle of Sophie's second performance, you hear Miles. It's like dead quiet. You hear Miles go, "I'm ready to go home."
Wait, can we just say shout out to Dude I Don't Know Studios and all of us for
I
pretending
know.
like nothing's happening in the background and we're all just pros?
Yeah.
And if Tori's mic didn't work, we'd all be fine with that.
Oh my God.
I would just be like, Nick got my
Of
email.
all of us
Okay.
to have our mics not work, Tori would definitely be the most detrimental.
I like how we're just rolling with the punches like we're on live TV.
I know.
I
You know what I mean?
I was thinking that
We're
when
pros.
we were in the airport lounge before we left for LA, and somebody dropped a plate and shattered it, and everybody looked, and I just noticed that I didn't react at all. And I'm like, oh, if you've worked in restaurants, like a broken glass or like a dropped plate that shattered, you don't even look because you're so desensitized. But when it happens around other people, they're like, like somebody dropped something precious, but like you're like, oh, somebody dropped a tray of plates and 2 martinis. All right.
I was at the mall today and some lady,
Which one?
By us.
I love that mall.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
during. Is it all decorated
I was getting
right
my
now?
wife a birthday present because her birthday's on Thursday.
Her birthday's on Thursday.
Yeah, so I went to the mall like
Like a
you know,
good,
I'm
like a
46 years old.
Was it decorated for Christmas?
I just went into stores I needed. I was kind
You
of
didn't
I had my
realize
head
that
down.
there's garland.
There probably was. I don't know. But the point of the story is that some lady, I was like, this lady was like right next to me. I'm like, dude, what's up? But she had like a giant cart and like all this stuff in there. And then just like, I was like, all right. And then not 2 seconds later, maybe like 4 minutes later, I hear, "You stay the hell away from me." I'm like, oh, it was that lady who was right next to me 2
What
seconds ago.
happened?
What'd she do?
I don't even know if there was a real person there or she was just screaming in the store.
Wait, when
And
you-
nobody blinked an eye. Everyone's just like, well, I'm
Wait.
not going to confront that.
When she
And now
was-
that's just where we're at in America. Everyone's just like,
When
I'm
she
not doing
was
that.
next to you, did you have any inclination that there may be something
bad
wrong?
vibe?
1,000%.
Oh, you knew.
What do you think? I don't know what's happening. I'm like, this person's insane.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or the outburst.
Yes, of course, before the outburst. I was looking at a shoe and she was 2 inches away from me with a giant shopping cart with nothing in there and garbage everywhere. And I'm like, all right, well, this person's insane. And then sure enough, I'm like, well, there you go. And nobody said one word. Not,
our
ma'am, could you
mall?
please leave or whatever. Yeah,
At
yeah.
our mall.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. Just like what we get used to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I always tell myself, Jeff, there are 330 million of us. And the fact that like most of the places you go, everybody's pretty chill is amazing.
It is true.
You would
That's
think by
true.
the numbers, like every time you went to Chase, like there'd be 6 people
No,
trying to
it's
rob
called a
it.
civilization. Does my mic work?
I don't.
Really close.
Did that
to
snarky
you.
comment get through?
I don't think my snarky comment went through.
Last time I was watching the podcast
What did I do?
You were just really loud.
Like into it?
Yes.
Okay.
So just some distance.
Is this
might
better?
help.
No.
No,
it's-
just distance.
Do you understand? that You've been on the television show for 7 years.
and did stand up. So let's talk about your mic handling
How are you
skills.
doing, Tori? How are you doing? What's going on in Tori's life?
Everything's fine.
Tell us, what motivated you to really bring out the boss babe vibes?
I just feel like I've been, I just wanted to start bringing a little bit of classiness to myself and a little bit of richness. A glossiness, a polish, if you will.
So you want to exude wealth.
Yeah, because I don't have any right now. Yeah, I want to be Erica.
Now that I think of it, the lady in the mall looked a lot like
I
you.
knew Jeff was thinking that.
That would explain the shopping cart that I had to move to park.
Were you at the mall today?
Stop following me, sir.
Well, I gotta ask you guys because
Well, we didn't get to hear
she
about
was talking-
Yeah, yeah.
Tori's.
Jeez,
she
Louise.
had
No.
49 adjectives that she could have been describing nails or.
Someone else wrote, Erica's looking gorgeous. Again.
Tori,
Oh, no
Tori.
close-ups. I've
Super
have
loud.
Something happening from Mexico in my face.
You look stunning.
What
Stop
happened in
it.
Mexico?
I just started breaking out, so don't worry.
You gotta go see Angel.
We're handling.
Yeah.
it.
Angel's
Yes.
amazing.
Angel
Hey,
is amazing.
What's happening with you?
Right now,
Can you talk about your hair journey?
I don't want to,
I
but
think people might understand
thank you.
it.
Okay, so here's the deal. I lost my mom, as you guys all know, about 8 months ago. My job also went about 3 months ago. My dog, who's my soul dog, is slowly dying in a kind of uncomfortable way for us because she's dementia. So a lot of anxiety is building up, okay? And I have taken it out
On your hair.
on my hair.
Every week she's
Every
coming to a
week.
new salon. And
I am
have
taking.
you gone to My Lady yet?
So
I bet you looked her up.
I messaged her. Okay, so I take the extensions in, I take them out. I put them back in, I take them back out. I cut, I done, I da, I da. And it's all,
tone, you
I tone,
brighten.
I
You
write, I
tone.
tone, I brighten. All of this is with money that I can't be spending right now
know.
because health insurance is $1,000 million. And I'm trying to save. So my anxiety is taking place in regards to my hair. And that's the story of my week.
Okay. How are you otherwise?
I'm feeling kind of anxious.
How has this been different than the last 7 years?
Because it's stronger. It's like more intense. It's really intense.
It's built
Hair
up.
looks
So,
really good.
and
And
I-
I do want to give your lady props.
thanks. I
feel
just
like-
went to someone.
I feel like again. I know. Oh my god.
But I do want to say one
Tori.
thing. It's because I want my own podcast and I won't do it unless I feel like I look good. So this is putting me off and putting me off.
That's called.
Right.
My therapist would say that's avoidance.
Oh, mine does too. And I'm totally.
Yeah, because she's totally fine just coming
Yeah.
in, however, on this one.
Right. But I thought I looked okay here.
Getting one in.
Quiet
Got the
luxury.
wrap. No, I think Peter has a
Yes.
good sense. So let's trust Peter. We got the wraps.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thanks. Everyone says prayers and to breathe.
Yes, really. Breathe.
I have
Don't
a
they
lot
say
going-
Control your breath.
This year is very difficult and I'm just going with it.
Yeah.
Breath is everything.
Yeah.
We're at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's
Of the
been
year.
Very hard.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
been a
no,
hard
of
year.
course, of
yeah, yeah.
course.
Very hard.
Okay.
You've had a hard year.
Well,
Yeah.
people
honest.
had a hard time getting Netflix to stream during the
Oh
Tyson
my gosh.
Jake
Good
Paul
transition.
fight.
That was so annoying.
So you had issues, Sam?
Yes.
Okay.
Buffer,
I
buffer.
didn't have issues during the Tyson Paul fight. I had issues during the two women, who
Which was the
were
best part.
Unbelievable, and it drove me nuts. And to the point where I would have to log out of Netflix and then log back in, and it was really annoying. So
Okay, but you were able to do it.
multiple times though, not just
Erica,
once.
did you watch?
Yes, I
She
did.
put bunny
She put
ears.
I
antennas.
posted about it on my Instagram, and apparently it jogged a lot of really great memories for people who remember using bunny ears to try to get just any type of reception.
I thought you meant the bunny ears on your head.
No,
Those are called rabbit
Those are
ears.
called ears.
Those are
called-
hanger
Hanger,
rabbit
rabbit
ears
ears.
or
They
whatever.
don't call them bunny ears.
With
Rabbit
the
ears.
two pieces of foil.
Yes.
So your podcast partner, Corinne
Coco,
Kaplan,
shout out.
Yes, from My Safe Word is More, sent me and Anthony a text message like a week before the fight, and she's like, Tyson's #1 fan, has the best stories on your podcast about it, and she's like, what are you guys doing for the fight? We have to watch the fight. So we're like, okay, so we're gonna watch this fight. I didn't even know there was a fight.
Erica.
But yeah, so Corinne's my neighbor, so she came over, and so
Tori feels
we're-
left out already. Look at her face.
Oh my God!
Wow, you're good, Sam.
Oh my God!
That was
You can feel
amazing,
it.
Sam. That was
Lord have
amazing.
mercy. Listen, Corinne is like our child at this point. She will just pop in. Tori won't pop in. We can't even. You call Tori, text Tori.
My introvert, a little
I
bit of a
love
So
that.
yeah, she'll just like be like, "Hey guys, I'm here." So it's like, okay. Anyway, so we are watching this fight, and we're trying to figure out. Like, we did everything. We turned it off. We turned it back on. We went to the next TV. We were doing all the things.
You blow on it, I blew on it.
That's a Nintendo cartridge.
I tried it. It didn't work. It was buffer, 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 buffer.
Yeah, but we did get the fight, and
What did you think? What did Corinne
We got
think?
the,
The super
fight
fan.
close enough to realize that we had all been bamboozled.
Yeah, someone's saying Tyson threw the fight. Or
Do
they
we
all threw the
think
fight.
that-
Well-
let's- okay, Jeff's shaking his head no. Because a lot of people are. Our friend Erin Coscarelli posted a video about why she thought it was all staged. Do you think it was staged?
I don't. I think he's 58 years old. And I don't, I think the nostalgia of all of it sparked the whole nation's interest, especially like our age, like I'm sure, we talked about it last week. Growing up watching Tyson fights, what an event it was, like a social event
Friends
around the
coming
country.
over,
Yeah, I
parents.
mean, so everyone kind of went back to that in a way. But the production, I thought, was horrendous. Rosie Perez
Wait, what
was
do you
the
mean
announcer.
She's a
Production.
boxing queen from Brooklyn. She knows a lot about boxing.
I wasn't a fan.
Plus, well, you know why they also did that? Oh, never mind. That doesn't make sense.
I don't. Just this is my opinion. I wasn't a fan
Good
of
one,
that. I was
Sam.
like, what is happening here? And then
Then his ass
It was
showed.
very frustrating.
People are
But I
saying that
think
wasn't
he's.
his ass.
I think he's 58 years old, and I do want to give a shout out to Jake Paul because he let him go 8 rounds,
Yes.
and he was just out there just giving him a jab, if you know what that is. He wasn't trying to hurt him anyway. Mike was tired. Mike wanted to go out there and rejuvenate that flame, and he did for the country. So I was so happy to see Mike Tyson out there to fight at 58. But people don't know, especially that are younger, you can't do the things that you've done, especially at that level of Mike Tyson level, to go out back. Everyone was like, Mike's going to come out and knock him out in the first
I
round.
thought that.
Everyone did.
Well,
And
you would
everyone
know.
wanted
You're
that,
so
but in
old.
reality-
Didn't say that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said I thought that.
Oh, apparently in June he had blood transfusions. There
He
were
lost
clots,
so
and
much
then
blood.
There was according. This is the word on the street is that in the contract that was the agreement that they weren't going to go 100%.
Yep.
Now, of course, we didn't know that going into it. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have watched.
And let me say something. There's some videos that are going around of him practicing Tyson, and I'm just going to imitate right now. Okay. I mean, it is old Tyson. Now I know he's sparring,
And that's
but
only
where
for 30 seconds
right?
compared to.
But there was not one instance where he actually like did that.
Yeah, but you
and
get
there was spirit
gassed
and fire
out.
in him way more. Like his legs didn't even move. And in the practice videos, he seemed much more with it, even after the blood transfusions, which was a big deal. He said he wanted to get in the ring to get over
Well, you're not
that.
alone, though. A lot of sports analysts have come out saying that they believe it was staged and that Tyson was, depending on how many rounds he lasted, how much money he would get, he really needed the money.
Yes,
all
I've
the way to
heard,
the
yeah.
8 rounds. This is just what they're saying. I kind of agree with Jeff, but because I just know when I raced you in swimming, as fast as I was at 22 years old, I could barely compete in a 50-yard freestyle.
And you're 55.
I think I was 39 when I raced Jeff. 39. And I could barely finish a 50-yard freestyle. When a 50-yard freestyle, I would get out and probably could have dove in and done it 10 more times.
You say Jeff. You raced both of us.
He jumped in and walked.
He
Let's
didn't
be
do
honest.
anything. Google it. Google DBL swim race, and you'll see he literally just sunk to the bottom of the pool.
So if you think Mike Tyson did bad, watch Al swim.
But to the analyst's point, though, to your point, they believe that there is this contract agreement that he was on fire the first round, could have knocked him out, and then backed off.
Yeah.
I think age had something to do with it.
Absolutely. And he would have got paid whether he got knocked out or
Right.
not. I think Jake Paul respected him a little bit. Everyone just wanted to see Mike. I mean, everybody.
We saw a lot of Mike.
There wasn't one.
Right?
Yeah, we saw a little bit more. But I mean, I think his speech at the end, like to his kids and stuff, he's a different guy. And that's what growing does. And he's been through trials and tribulations. And if you watch a Netflix special,
Yep.
it goes back
Did
to
you
the old
watch it?
neighborhood. Yeah.
So good.
It's
The pigeon?
I think, man, how he captivated America, even though he had some bad things going on and did some very bad things. People love that guy.
Yeah.
And I think people were just, the nostalgia inspired a lot of people
Well,
just to watch it again.
But maybe loving a lot more than just the fight, because can we talk about
tell us.
his buhute?
Okay, I didn't know this.
Let's get into this.
tell me
Erica,
about
talk to the
new
people.
proposition.
Yeah, apparently an adult site offered him $250,000.
Wait, stop.
For-
This was planned?
No, this was after the fight because we were all like,
Tell everybody.
is that his
tell,
booty?
Tell everybody what you're talking about.
He was
Let's-
interviewed by his son, right?
Right.
So he gets,
I was
he
watching
got
when it happened.
offered $250,000 to join this adult site.
Because of his
Because of
showing
his
his booty.
booty.
So he was interviewed
Right.
by his son, and as the camera panned away,
Pre-fight, he was interviewed.
Pre-fight, he walked away, and he was seemingly wearing a thong, and his ass was out, and it looked like an episode of The Office.
But I don't think that's a thong. I think that's what
It's a
boxers
cup.
wear
He
to
did
cover
see.
you.
Yes, he
you
did.
know?
like a sumo.
Exactly. Yeah.
a
Jock
sumo.
strap. But like
Jock
for
strap.
boxers.
A
Yeah.
jock
Jock
strap,
strap.
but a cup. I mean, you have to have a serious. Can you imagine
Didn't
taking
he
an
have pants
uppercut?
on?
Did I tell
No.
you my cup
was-
story?
Well, there were pants in the front.
That's what I thought.
It was just his butt in the back.
No, it was
No,
more
he
like,
didn't-
I don't think there was.
That's what
He
I
didn't.
thought.
It was just kind of. It was a little bit of a coverall, but everybody thought that it was staged. But when my girlfriend and I were watching it, I think that, like, and Jeff, you would know better than I. You've been in locker rooms. I'm sure there are guys walking around in jock straps until the game starts.
We've all been in locker
I don't think
rooms.
you're fully in
Jeff,
your
you've been
uniform,
in a
especially a
locker
boxer.
Women, I did not know what a cup was when I was like 13 years old. And I remember going into my crush's house, Brian Barton, and I
Full
picked up
name.
his cup thinking it was like a Darth Vader.
Oh no, you no.
Put it on my mouth and I pretended to be Darth Vader and everybody was silent. And then later, I found out from Lauren Farrar, who I've mentioned a couple times on this podcast because she was one of my best friends growing up, that was Brian Barton's cup.
Did it smell?
I don't remember, Tori. I just remember thinking I was
The dark
funny.
side.
No one laughed. So then I got really embarrassed. And then when I later found out it was used for his baseball uniform in the nether region, it still to this day makes me upset.
Well, that makes me upset right now.
Yeah, the fact that
Luke, I am your
that you said nether
father.
region is the most embarrassing part.
Oh my god.
Okay, so really quickly before we get into the unfun stuff.
wait,
Jeff,
really-
do you think
Wait,
it was
she
set
has
up?
something to
I have
say.
something to say very
we
quickly.
weren't done
I
with
did
it.
want to say the girls' fight was particularly
my
by far the
my
best.
gosh.
I don't know boxing,
The
but I was.
headbutting, though?
Now I am against the woman. I'm going to imitate her real quick. I don't know if I won the fight, but I know I did the headbutt, and I don't know if the crowd agrees. And I'm like, you're a dirty little player. And that other woman, Serrano, should have won. And I don't like you, Katie Taylor, and your head. You led with your head, and you got an eyelid problem.
Let me just
She has
let me
other
stick
bo-
up for Katie Taylor because I bet her blindly because she was the underdog and I
So
put
you won.
$30 on her and we
Dude,
couldn't
she's
watch
dirty.
the fight and then I saw that cut and I'm like she's winning and then it came back on and she'd start getting rocked and I'm like she's losing and I didn't know what happened. All of a sudden my buddy's like, dude, I got money in my thing. We won. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, but
I
you
go
won.
watch the
That's
fight.
dirty
You-
blood
I
eyelid
know
money.
exactly.
But you
She
do
led
need
with
to
her
watch
head.
it. She,
Of course, that's dirty. You can't lead with
Yeah.
your head.
You can't. And the
Although
rep,
I will
1
say-
point.
But I won.
I will
couple
say
bucks.
though, just because I did a little rabbit hole on both of the chick
Tell
fighters
me.
because I was so in awe of both of them that Katie Taylor will not. So what she'll do is she'll kind of test that first round and see what the referee does. I almost called him an umpire. The referee.
Because he was watching close.
No. So she'll test that referee. If the referee lets things go, then she will go all in and be dirty,
don't
which I
like
don't agree
that.
with. But it's all up to that referee.
I don't
If
like
the
that.
referee's calling things, she'll play very kosher. Dude. Because referee dude was not. She took advantage.
See, I'll just say Serrano's coach.
Yeah. I loved that.
I
He
loved
stuck
him.
up for her.
Me too.
He has a larger head.
I have a big head too.
He did. He went all in. Did you? Oh, the coach?
I barely watched
The coach was like, "She's a dirty
Yes.
player."
Yeah.
Shade, and it
Yeah,
wasn't
it
even like
was.
he was going all in on her, but just the way that he was saying
And
it.
what
I
about
died
what about
laughing.
him kept bringing up the weight class?
Yeah. She went 3 divisions. She went up 3 divisions.
Yep.
1 point. I don't know if I should be the winner, but I don't care because I won. And I'm like, no, you didn't. You're dirty eyelid money.
She won the Olympics in 2012. I
Yeah,
saw
but
that before
in
the
her
fight.
featherweight class. The other, so
I didn't.
I
Really,
don't
to be honest
ever
with you,
understand why
skipping
that's
so
like
much.
a-
I didn't watch the fight. I
watched
just know
the
I
fight.
won.
And
Yeah.
I grew up watching boxing with my dad, and as soon as the fight started,
what'd you think?
it was 100. Whenever you're watching a fight and a fighter is landing as many punches as Serrano was,
Yeah.
and it's not damaging the other opponent as much, that tells you 2 things. One, and we found out later, she went up 3 weight classes.
What does that mean, though?
That
It's-
means that, like, normally, like, whatever weight you walk around, think about you fighting somebody 30 or 40 pounds lighter than that. Even if they hit hard,
And
405
muscle
pounds
weighs twice as much
person.
as fat. So
Right.
think about that.
See.
So, like, it's
I'm all fat.
you're at a power disadvantage.
Someone had a Bazooka Joe
And-
rapper
yeah,
earlier.
And if you ever see a
Everybody
fighter's
knows that.
eye that looks like that,
Did you just drink a
and you-
Snapple?
what's happening over here?
Because she's making
She's
fun of
giving
her
out
fat
facts.
He
toy.
doesn't like that I said, and muscle weighs twice as much as fat. So when you do,
Sam's
after
like,
fight-
every snowflake is different. Believe in Christmas.
just trying to provide context
I thought
to
it was
Al's
great.
point.
Yes.
I want to know what you thought before we move on really quickly of Tyson and Paul. Do you think it was staged?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I think that
Really?
Paul did a classy thing. I think there's 2 things.
works his
I do
ass
think it was
off, too.
classy that he didn't go for the knockout, but going for the knockout, the one thing, and George Foreman showed us this because I think he won the heavyweight title again at 45 after a 20-year
Yeah.
layoff.
He did?
Yeah.
Wow.
The
45.
punch is the last thing to go. And Jake Paul had to know that if he did go for the spectacular knockout, which it was 70-30, he probably would have gotten, running into a Mike Tyson uppercut. I don't care if Mike Tyson's
Right.
70.
Yeah.
You're going to feel that. And so I think Jake Paul was like, I can do the classy thing and keep all my teeth. But I don't think it was staged. I think when you are 58, and also you brought up a good point, Jeff, Mike Tyson has done a lot of therapy to kind of, you have to understand, when you are put into the Roman Coliseum and we all cheered in the late 80s, early 90s, whatever place you have to get to in your mind to try and kill somebody with your fists, to unwind that tape and become a functional member of society without drugs and alcohol is a very difficult thing. It seems like he's done a significant amount of work to get there. And I think that it's probably, one, hard to get that beast back. And secondly, harder to get that beast back, wondering if you can get it back in the can again once you do. Because
you mean you don't want to let it out
right,
again?
because if there was like, if I had to
We're
start
getting the rap again.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if it was totally without drugs though, because he goes, I was perfectly fine just doing mushrooms and smoking weed.
Yeah.
And then Jake
Is
called
that
me.
right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to
Yeah,
fight
he said
anybody.
watch the docuseries. Okay, we are going to move on, but I have to know because I feel like you follow UFC.
Oh yeah, I love it.
So he just asked Conor McGregor. How do you think that'll be?
I
who
said
did
that
Jake
I
Paul?
go think Conor McGregor. I think Conor McGregor thinks he could still compete and win that title,
So what
which
do you
he
think?
can't.
No,
but
what do
I
you-
do think that Jake Paul will eventually fight Conor McGregor.
Do you think
Yeah.
who will win?
The woman who hits with her head, bot.
Jake Paul's a really good boxer.
Right,
He
but
is a
he-
good boxer, but he takes guys that are kind of washed up.
Yes.
McGregor's not really a boxer.
But-
neither was Nate Diaz. Neither was none of these guys that he
Right,
fought.
but-
Mike Tyson was 58. So
But
he's
here's the
smart.
caveat, though, before you give your answer. Jake Paul said he will do MMA against.
He will get murdered
Well,
by
that's what he
Conor
said.
McGregor.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
he said. He said, I will go against McGregor, not
Yeah.
boxing. I'll do it his way, MMA style.
He'll
You
get
think
murdered, and he tried that with Nate Diaz and ended up
Okay.
boxing, and Nate Diaz would murder him
Okay.
in
Right.
MMA.
All right.
can't.
Last
we
thing.
can move on.
Okay, just
Oh,
last
yeah,
thing
yeah.
is what he came out to in the
yeah, tell everybody. Yep.
That's Mike Tyson's song from The Hangover. He came out with it and a pigeon.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
In a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird
Why?
because he got paid for the. They
Yeah.
said the name of it. It was a Chevy.
He
All
got like
right.
$2.5
Well,
million.
let's get to a topic that I know, Jeff, you've been texting me all day saying I can't wait to get to politics. I mean,
I was hoping we'd run
yeah,
long
yeah.
on Mike
I
Tyson.
did.
yeah, it's
Yep.
all right.
Do you see
Well,
my beer around me?
Trump has made some. What do you need, Tori?
Nothing. I was just asking.
You
something.
know you're talking into a microphone.
Do you see my beer?
I didn't know where it went. But anyway, continue.
Sorry, I don't know where your mushrooms are.
Thank you. Well, Trump started making his cabinet appointments. They were very controversial.
Yep.
And I'll read them off, and then we'll talk about some of the more controversial. The Secretary of State, he's nominated Marco Rubio, of Florida, I believe.
And I just want to say before you say this, Al, that everybody who has been appointed needs to be advised and consented to by the Senate.
These are noms.
These are noms. So I just want you to know that he doesn't have the power to create that.
Nominations.
That's a great point. Thank you, T.
Yep.
For Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr. For Attorney General, a Republican, Matt
Watergate.
Gaetz. We're going to talk about Matt Gaetz. Caroline Leavitt to be the press secretary, which
She'd
is
be the
interesting.
youngest, one of the youngest.
She would be the youngest
Yep.
at 27 years old.
Yep.
And
Too old for Leo.
And
The room kind of chuckled.
Stephen Miller as Deputy Chief of Staff for Foreign Policy, and finally, let's just start with him. Fox News weekend host Pete Hegseth, excuse me,
Hegseth, yeah.
for Defense Secretary to be the head of our armed services. The former weekend
I
host
feel like Tori
of
knows
Fox
more about
News.
this than anyone.
Yeah.
So Tori,
So-
please.
Okay, so first off, I will say this. I will bet you my house that Matt Gaetz.
Don't bet your house.
No, let's talk about Pete Hegseth first, and we'll go back.
Okay, so let me just on a whole say that this to me is a big middle finger to the Senate. It's also a litmus test, which I always look to you because you
kind
always
of like
see
the
it.
referee.
Correct. To see in the wind, right? How far can I push this Senate? How much will they go with the MAGA Republicans? Have I turned the whole party? Is Mitch McConnell still separate from me? So this is a big FU and a big troll, but it's also a test. Because as soon as Matt Gaetz come out, and if you don't know who he is...
Hold on, Sam is shifting. What are you doing?
I have restless leg syndrome.
All right. There's like 40 things happening.
I have RLS. It's a real diagnosis.
It is.
But you're not asleep.
It feels like...
Tori has a microphone like she's talking to everyone at lunchtime to put away their stuff.
Okay,
I have the talking
Chrissy?
I'm the principal of this school.
Yeah.
Chrissy, put that milk away. Chrissy, Avery, stop fighting. So this is a big FU, and they're testing it. Now, I was laughing when Matt Gaetz came out because if you didn't know, he is under a Senate Ethics Committee investigation for having sex with a 17-year-old. There is a lawyer now that has a woman that has seen him have sex with 2 minors that has come out. He also has a drug issue that is going on. And the idea that he be in charge, allegedly, of our entire justice system is sort of laughable.
How would he, let's say he does get nominated. Here's a question to you, because I'm just curious. He gets nominated. He has a number of cases against him. Is he then able to decide not to pursue his own cases?
Sam, the second he resigned to take this position, the ethics committee complaint was dropped. So this is a way for Matt Gaetz. By the way, this all came about on Air Force One as they were eating McDonald's and his chief of staff was in the other room. Gaetz was there and they came up with it in 30 seconds. And they all said, a source says, that this was sort of a laughable kind of thing, thinking, let's put Gaetz up there. But now it's become serious. And now we're seeing how far has this entire checks and balances gone towards MAGA Republicans. I laughed very hard. However, when I speak to my father, who lives in D.C. and has his ear on the ground, he says, we aren't that far away from a Matt Gaetz top cop in D.C. So I'm counting.
Top cop?
Yeah,
what does that mean?
The name of the attorney general is he's the top cop in all of the entire country. He decides what cases get brought on, what don't. I mean, it is putting the hands of our justice system in the hands of someone who is accused
of a former attorney,
a very light attorney. But he might be disbarred due to this ethics complaint of, again, sexual misconduct with a 17-year-old on an air hockey table at a party in front of many, many people, allegedly. So the issue is, I believe this is a question to the Senate. How are you going to play me? It's like the Tyson thing. You want to play me hard or you going to play me soft? All of this we will be determined, but I assume that Matt Gaetz will not be nominated at all. He will not be accepted. So in my heart of hearts, he will be put aside. Other people, I think, will get through.
What do you think about RFK Jr.? I mean, he ran on the whole Make America Healthy Again.
Yeah, he wants fluoride out of our water system, which some people agree with. He's wary about vaccinations. Some people agree with. He's concerned about the food that we eat. And a lot of people, the processed food, agree with that. A lot of people. Now, does he have questionable things about COVID? Like he said, perhaps it saved the Jews and the Chinese. Yes. Does he think 5G caused cancer? Yes. Has he made odd things that don't have any scientific background? Yes. However, many people are excited for this. And I wondered what you guys thought about this. He's very particular about the food and the water and the...
I have some thoughts. What do you think, Joe?
I think we do need to change what we eat and what people eat and what foods we give to certain populations and things like that. I think we need to bring back farming instead of outsource things. I think California needs to start raising some animal products and stuff instead of outsourcing all of it. I think we need to change our farm industry. I think we need to bring that back because if you go outside the country, like I've been lucky enough to travel, a chicken is this big. And if you're not listening, the size of a softball, okay?
Right.
That's how big a chicken is. In our country, a chicken breast is the size of a bowling ball, okay?
Right.
So there's something in our food that shouldn't be there. And we have all these new illnesses and diseases and things, and I don't know if they correlate. I'm not saying I'm a doctor at all.
That's right.
That we didn't have 30, 40, 50 years ago. We had people growing their own food in their backyard. I mean, I just remember me growing up, all the Italian people and other people around me, they would grow. Even we did. We grew beans, tomatoes, everything in our backyard. You don't really see that anymore. So I think people need to be more health conscious of what we're eating, what we're putting in our body, what we're spraying on our fruits and vegetables, and what we're injecting our animals with. I mean, I think chickens get to full maturity in like a week.
Well, not
They're
only
like
that.
from a baby. They can't even walk, and we're feeding that to the public.
Right.
So I think there is a problem there. I know people have a problem with RFK and you want to make it political, but I'm just talking about the problem at hand with what we're eating.
A lot of people are
country.
saying they agree with you.
And I'm going to separate from RFK Jr., but to Jeff's point, when it comes to, we also, lucky enough to travel around. And I remember looking at a cereal box. It was, I don't remember what it was, but the ingredients are like 3 ingredients, like wheat, sugar, and it was like sugar cane, and then some sort of like oil or whatever it was for the cereal. Same company. Let's say it's Kellogg's. Here, it's like 75 ingredients. Like, that is not okay. And I get that we're a for-profit healthcare system here, and in other countries it's not. So they want to invest in their constituents because they don't want to have to be stuck paying for their health. But yeah, it is a problem when certain dyes are allowed here, like the red dye number, whatever it may be, is in certain foods here that is linked to causing cancer in children. And then you go to other countries where it's banned. Right. So we do need to, I'm not saying RFK Jr. is the person, but we do need to be more stringent when it comes to protecting our constituents.
Eric, what do you
Absolutely.
think?
And really quick, people are writing in saying they totally agree, but some say he's absolutely crazy with the bear and the whale and the worm in his head. So I just wanted to give what our audience was talking about.
Oh, I'm on my black woman break.
Okay.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Well, I will say this about RFK.
She just slid us all 100.
Yeah.
Said, go away.
Yes. Yes.
Just reclaiming my time.
I love that. You know what, though? I'm impressed with that because I told you I'm really into that Stallone series. I forget what the name of it is.
Tulsa Cake?
Sounds like you're into it.
Tulsa King.
Someone
I look
said
forward to it every
that part,
weekend.
Erica.
He gets done by sliding hundreds. He
we're
can
back.
get anything he wants by sliding hundreds.
Stallone?
Stallone in Tulsa King gets whatever he wants by sliding 100. The mailman.
He gets the mailman?
Man.
The horseman.
Same.
What are we
She's clearly out of. She didn't have anything after the mailman, and I'm not sure about the mailman. I will say
Yes,
this:
the mailman
because
is in it.
Jeff, I thought you brought up a good point in terms of our food, and you know what I was thinking as you were talking was because I know you've been broke as an actor, and just like when there's just times.
Wow, I thought you were just ended broke.
No,
I was like,
yeah.
yo.
We've all had some lean periods, and I know I have, and I remember. When I was out in LA, Domino's $5 hot and ready's. Come on, dog. Come on, dog. I would go in there and get 2. And I'm sure they're terrible. I knew they were bad for me, but you know what? Carbs go a long way. And that was one of the things that like people always threw at people that were on welfare. It's like, well, how can they be poor if they're that fat? If you go to Whole Foods, everybody there is ripped because they're eating great food.
Yeah.
Well
If
said.
you live in a food desert, or if you just organic grapes, they can be $9-10. Do you know how many hot and readies you can get? You know, that's how I used to measure everything. And so when you don't have a lot of money, the good food that we all crave and we all want it's not possible for you to get your hands on. So I think that's kind of the balance that we're trying to strike as a country. We are a large country. There are food deserts, both urban and rural, and people don't have access to a lot of good organic food.
That's a great point.
And so, like,
True.
how do we balance that with the pesticides and the
Where's the equity?
preservatives we have to put on stuff so
And
it
he's-
lasts long enough to
And Kennedy
get
wants
you.
to deal with that.
I'll tell you, again, going outside the country because I learned so much. But one year, I remember after I did Around the World for free and I traveled to all these places that didn't have food or they lived, in or near the jungles. I got everybody a gift, but it was you give this tribe, whatever it may be, 2 chickens, or you save up and you pull your money and you give them a goat, and you teach the people about sustainable living. And I don't think that would ever be a thing here, which I don't know why it wouldn't be, but you get a tilapia farm and you raise tilapia and then you eat that tilapia, or you get a couple chickens and you breed those chickens and you get eggs and you eat a couple, but you still breed some. You get a couple goats, you get milk, you breed those goats, you have meat for yourself.
Right.
So I understand that's a different part of living around the world, but sustainable living is something that America might need to focus on, because all of those things that you mentioned, if you go to just poor rural parts of America, there's nothing there, but you know what is there? There's an Arby's, there's a Wendy's, there's a McDonald's. We need to give them better options. So if we have better farming to have sustainable living and we give them better options to choose from, people might not be as unhealthy as they are.
Jeff for president.
No, definitely not.
I have a question for Tori
Yeah.
because I know that Mike Huckabee Sanders.
Yes. Ambassador to Israel.
How do you feel about that?
Okay. Well, first off, it's a weird thing because he's not Jewish. I just got to be
Right.
honest.
No, I know, because
and that's
it's-
weird just
it's
because it is.
symbiotic. It
Correct.
is.
Is that position usually filled by somebody that's Jewish?
Not necessarily, but right now it's a little awkward right now. Now, Mike Huckabee is a diehard neocon about Israel. Everything is about Israel. They are diehard about it. And you know what? That's great. I think that Mike Huckabee is insane. I don't think he has any idea of the international delicacies that you have to deal with between a Gaza and an Israel. I think that takes someone with foreign policy experience that is as diplomatic as you get. And Mike Huckabee is a guy that shoots it straight.
Right.
Not great, because Netanyahu is off the wire to me, and he's from Israel, and the people in Gaza are suffering. The people in Israel are suffering. I hope they release the hostages. But it doesn't take a butcher. You need a surgeon.
Who would you nominate?
You want to know something?
Yeah.
That hair is cool.
Why she thinks of that? Another thing. When
Nikki Haley. I would have picked someone
okay.
with UN ambassadorship background, with
Yep.
foreign policy background,
Okay.
and a woman in my mind would have stood out.
Okay, I want to get to another
Yep.
person that
Sorry.
was. I wasn't
Can we get
done.
to a topic Erica could talk about?
I feel
Yeah,
bad.
we can move on. We can move
Oh
on.
no, I'm good.
We can. Move
Everyone
on.
liked your black
Okay.
woman.
Erica's
Right?
been here
No,
2 weeks.
Yeah, let's go to the next topic.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's keep it
Someone
moving.
says, Al, your
I do-
calves are going down. Sorry, just
My
that.
what?
Your
They're
calves.
losing. No.
Sorry, buddy.
At
Are
first
they
I
playing
thought-
Boston tonight?
At first, I thought she meant my real calves. I was like, I've been working. I really did. I was like, do I got chicken legs over here?
You were more hurt about your own calves than your calves.
We're 15-0, baby. I know it's bad. This might be bad now.
Is 15-0 meaning you've won 15?
Yes.
Oh,
wow, Tori. To be the
Well,
smartest person in
Sam
the room.
didn't
you just-
I
think
thought that
that's
meant
what-
you lost 15 games.
Why would I be happy?
Don't
that we
say
lost?
I thought
wow.
you said you're
you
upset
guys didn't know
about
what
it.
15 and 0
No,
meant?
you were upset. I do now.
I
I
didn't.
thought
The
okay.
first number,
I didn't
the
know that.
You
losing's
were
the
upset of
second
your
number.
calves. Go ahead. I did not pay attention the last 30 seconds.
Okay, well, that's good to say on
Fair.
the show.
Right.
I do want to get to this because Erica, Candace Owens came for Queen Bee. How dare she?
Erica.
She basically was
What'd she say?
accusing her, and tell me if I'm not saying this the right way, that Tina Knowles and by, I guess, proximity,
Okay.
Beyonce were
So-
paid to
No, she accused Beyonce of being paid $10 million
Wait,
to
where
endorse.
was this? The Erica, was this? Did she write a social media post?
No,
I
it's
don't
like
know what
on
this.
her whatever she has going
Okay.
on now.
Okay.
So she accused
Tina Knowles.
Beyonce. No, Beyonce.
She didn't accuse Tina?
No, she accused Beyonce of being paid $10 million to endorse Kamala Harris.
Which I did hear they paid Beyonce. I'm not going to lie.
So that's been going around the internet. Candace Owens has been very vocal.
Beyonce doesn't
about
need
it.
$10 million. Thank
And
you very
then
much.
Tina Knowles, her mother, chimed in and said that it was fake news and that it had been removed from certain sites, but other non-reputable sites had kept it posted. So Candace Owens, of course, claps back. Now, it's important to note that she also accused Cardi B, like, she's just gone, it's very much like, you say something, I'm going to, meet you with the same energy. Beyonce doesn't have that type of smoke for people because, let's be honest, she doesn't have to. So Candace Owens went on a whole tirade about how Beyonce isn't, she isn't accountable, or she isn't, basically she's not one of us, which I'm like, duh.
Candace Owens says that?
Yeah, well, she was like, no one can, she's not relatable. And I'm like,
That's the point.
Who's following Beyonce or a fan of Beyonce for her relatability?
Right,
Like,
right.
that seems so bonkers. But my thing is, like, to be accountable, or what she's essentially saying with the relatability doesn't necessarily mean that you have to you don't need to give people access to you. And that's what bothered me about it. Like, I think a lot of us are striving for not to be Beyonce, but to be in a position where we don't constantly have to respond to people and fight for, our position and, all of these things. It's like, does accountability also mean accessibility, and I don't believe that it does.
Well, let me ask
Did
you a question.
Beyonce really quickly? Did Beyonce respond or just
No,
Tina?
of course.
Okay,
Tina,
good for
well,
her.
because
Good for
Tina
her.
Knowles generally will respond,
And that's
on,
Beyonce's mother.
It's her mother, and like, I mean, so she's like, well, you don't have to have your mommy respond for you. And it's like, okay, first of all, tell me that your mama don't speak to you without telling me your mama don't speak to you, because any black mama and black daughter, and I mean many other races, but I'm just saying in this position,
Jews as well.
yeah, you say something about me, you gonna hear from Dr. Cobb. Like,
Right.
it's just, I have to tell her, like,
Right.
especially when we were on the show, like, you cannot get on the social media talking to these fools. You can't.
Well, that was going
It's
to
a
be
waste of everybody's time.
That was going to be my question. I'll start with you, Jeff, but everybody answer it. When do you decide when you're going to respond to something on the internet said about you that is, I'm assuming in this case, untrue? And when do you just say it's not worth my time?
I'm not Beyonce, obviously.
Right.
And it's
But I think
not worth
it's
my
more-
time
it's
is the
more
point that I'm
relatable
making.
for
at.
everybody
the
else
point
to
that
be-
I'm getting to, especially on like something hard. I'm not going to respond because that's what people want. They want you to respond because it's cryptid. When you just send a text message, it's cryptid. You're not getting what I'm feeling. You're not getting what I went through. It's one
You're looking
line,
for it, yeah.
and I'd rather not give you that statement. So you could judge my whole life based on one statement. I'd rather just not say anything at all and let you think what you want to think. And then when you do get to know me on a podcast or on a show, be like, you question yourself and say, wow, how did I ever think that about this guy? Instead of me writing a statement to you that kind of justifies what you were thinking in some sort of way because you took it all out of context.
And
So
I don't even know if people will sit back and question themselves and have an aha moment.
I don't think they will either. I'm just trying to give
Yep,
Americans a
of
benefit
course.
of doubt
And I
because
love that
we're
about you.
95% morons.
I love that you're trying to give
Except
people the
our
benefit
audience.
of the doubt.
That
But I do
5%.
think that there's two motivations. Either one, like I do think Candace Owens did this to create an uproar and attention.
Right.
I don't think she cares if it's good publicity or bad publicity.
No.
It's all the same for her. And her goal is to be a troll, in
Is
my
she a
opinion.
provocateur, you'd say?
Professional.
1,000%.
That's her job.
Number, or it's the person that just looks to find something wrong with you because for whatever reason they don't like you. You remind them of their ex, you remind them of themselves, whatever it may be. They look for
Well,
it.
let me
It's what they don't
Generally,
like about
just so you
themselves.
know, though, generally it is themselves.
Yeah,
Like the
projection.
people
Yep.
who, when you get such a response, like when because you can all think about people that like really drive you crazy. There's generally something internal that they are just mirroring. And you are actually projecting to self-loathe the behavior that you actually have.
She's right.
So I mean, we've all been through it. It's always like a thing, maybe sometimes when there's like a huge influx, but ultimately this is not my best trait, but like so basically I have this saying that I've been succeeding on spite alone since 1981. And there is nothing that puts me on a run of success like somebody underestimating me or saying something sideways to me. So there's a part of me, especially like, I wasn't necessarily like a hardcore athlete or anything, but when I got into like extreme like fitness competitions and stuff, it brought that like beast out of me. So when I hear someone say like, there's nothing like someone sitting around like scrutinizing your physique from top to bottom, like how much you've worked out, that like broke me in a way that like by the time that we got to DBL,
You didn't care.
I was like, there would be times where I'd be like a little in my feelings, like, oh, I'm not feeling great. And then something would happen. But ultimately, I'm like, thank you for the NAACP Image Award nomination.
Right.
Thank you for a 7-year run. Thank you for all of it because I really couldn't have done it without you. And if you
When
ain't got no
Erica,
haters, you
real
ain't popping.
quickly, because we think similar when she goes, spite, I definitely run a
like
spite.
Jerry
but when you
Seinfeld
go,
with you.
I have, and in my head, I'm like, a list of people you want to murder too? And I was like, oh, wait, I'm way off.
No, that's
like,
my
I'll stick with
husband.
Thank
who
God
runs
I called
the-
that guy.
That's my husband who runs the list. Like, and this
So does
person
anybody?
is going
Let's
down.
say that there was
Sorry,
something.
yeah.
We're so short on
Yeah,
time.
let Tori jump in
Okay,
there, yeah.
so Tori, is there anything that somebody could say on the internet? Let's say somebody said that Tori was the reason that DBO was canceled.
She always
Obviously not
responds.
true.
I always respond.
She always
But so
does,
would you
a
respond to that?
detriment.
I don't like lies. If you're cheating in trivia, I'm gonna call you out if you got your phone out. I don't like lies. So look, you can disagree with me and I like that. But if you lie about something or lie about something I said, or me and Jeff don't like each other anymore, or Al and I don't speak, I'm going to call you out.
But why
I don't
do you
mind.
want to spend your energy correcting people that do not care what your answer is?
I don't like a lie living. I don't like it. I like to stamp out the lie. Now that when I get more famous, I don't like it. When I get super famous, that's going to be too hard to control. But right now, the little lies I can stamp out, I'm going to do it.
Tori's going to be one of those celebrities that has an alter like Twitter account that's like Story Shulman or something
my
close to your name. Yeah,
Shelley.
Shelley Holman.
fighting. Well, Tori made some good points today.
Looking good with her hair today.
Well, I think Tori, I think your hair looks great. I think we did great. Erica, we're so glad that you are
Super
back
glad you're
with
back.
us.
She's
The
back.
the campfire is not complete without you here.
True.
And you guys, the Night Owls, we hope you enjoyed the show. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We need it. We love y'all. Thank you for the continued support. Feel like we don't deserve it, but we kind of do. So on behalf of Daytime Talk After Dark, I've been Al Jackson. On behalf of Jeff Schroeder, Erica Cobb, Tori Shulman, Sam Shocker, we love y'all.
Love
We
you.
out.
Guys, that was great, Al.
Those
He's
are good
unbelievable.
clothes.
He's a great